And lastly, an honorary knight of the Gallant Kingdom, Sir Haruto Amakawa.
Spirit Chronicles, that's all she wrote, my friends. Season complete, and what an adorable ending to the season, okay? First off, let me just say this. I'm gonna get into the episode, but let me just thank you all for joining me all season long. Spirit Chronicles is one of those anime, for me, that fits into a cup that is a very peculiar taste. And if you've been with me all season long, then your tastes probably align with mine, where I think we all recognize that this isn't winning anime awards. This is just definitely like it suits our palate, it suits our taste, and it's one of those guilty pleasure anime. For me, in this cup sits anime like Shield Hero, like Gate, like the Eighth Son or Wiseman's Grandchild, Arifureta, Spirit Chronicles. There's this cup of anime that are very much like, if I were to just truly review the shows, they're pretty much like 6 or maybe like 6.5 out of 10. But in my heart, they're 9 out of 10s. And Spirit Chronicles is one of those ones that I just absolutely love. And I just adore this season. And I love everything this episode did as well, too. But I love what this season did as well, which is just kind of open up the story. And from what you guys in the community have told me is, like, the story is pretty much, from a light novel perspective, is pretty much wrapped up. So I have really high faith at this point, considering that you can't imagine that the budget was too high for this show. I have pretty good faith that we're going to get renewed for another season. Now, also letting you know up front, for the beginning of the video, I did some pre-research, before I hit record right now. And there is no news at this point of a season 3 being announced, which is pretty sad because Jump Festa, or the Festa anime big event, just occurred in Japan, I believe it was. And there was a lot of news that came out there, a lot of renewals, a lot of seasons. So it kind of sucks that we didn't get that. But hopefully it's one of those things that maybe in like a week's time, once the holidays pass, maybe we'll get another announcement here, and I'll just kind of keep close and kind of keep you guys updated through the community tab or one of my other YouTube channels. I'll keep you guys posted on, if we happen to get a season 3 announcement. But let me talk about this season 2, and I'll talk about this episode, or let me talk about this episode. Talk about the whole season. So this episode, the things I really love about this episode was really bringing up Miharu and her ability, whatever ability she has to get like a glimpse of the future, or kind of nuggets or phases of what a potential future could be. It could be just her natural power, with transitioning to this world. It could be her spiritual connection to the spirit, with Aisha. It's hard to say, but I really love what it's introduced so far, with Miharu kind of being a keystone or key player in predicting what the future can be. And with that, one of her predictions was that she was going to walk alongside one of the heroes in this big ball, in this big event. And then Rio, or Haruto, whichever name you want to use, but Rio was walking alongside one of the other heroes, which is their friend, which is Miharu's friend, which she's going to end up meeting, which means, hey, +1 to the harem. But that means that Haruto is going to go and meet this other person and walk alongside her, as Flora, and I think Selly was there too. They're going to walk alongside the other hero, and we got to see all the other heroes there, which I think one of them is Aki's older brother, stepbrother, stepbrother, as well too, which I think is really, really interesting and cool. So it kind of gave us a glimpse of what's to come. But within the world of the show, that royal ball, maybe not the one she saw, but a royal ball to introduce the hero he's going to get closer to, is only a couple of days out within the world. But then what is this royal ball that they showed introducing all the heroes? How far is that out? And then why was it such important to introduce Rio as well. And they introduced him as Rio, not Haruto, I believe. So that's also a big, and let me just not eat my words. Let me just triple check there at the end. Let's just make sure. Okay, no, they introduced him as Rio. They introduced him as Haruto. I lied. I just pulled that out of my ass and I lied. They introduced him as Haruto, but you know, they made it a point to introduce him as Haruto, or they made it a point to introduce him at all within that ball. And obviously, Miharu had a lot of really big feelings about that as well. So this episode was just awesome. It kind of wrapped up the Lucius stuff. It showed us what happened to Lucius with, he basically got another stone in him as well. So he's probably going to become some kind of weird monster goblin thing where Haruto will end up getting his, full-on revenge at some point. And then we have the big bad who was also here in the ball as well, or in this royal thing that's happening. He was also appeared there as well too. So it seems like they know who this dude is as well. So just a lot of moving parts, a lot of things that are moving here. And then obviously we have the Flora stuff. I think the Flora stuff came to a headway as well, where not the reaction I wanted from our boy Haruto. Obviously, you can see that she's love-struck. She's, madly in love with Rio, and that's where her heart lies. And he's like, Rio's dead to me. Rio's dead to you. Call me Haruto. And she's like, oh, no. And she's like, just carry me. Like, she just carry me. So I'm not as satisfied with the Flora ending, but at least it was a ending to that story as well, too. So overall, I think this episode was like a 7 out of 10. I think it was really good. And then this season, I'll put the season about 7.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I think from just my personal enjoyment level, 9 out of 10. But if I were to put like again, my reviewer's hat, about 7 out of 10, maybe 6.5 out of 10 season. I love that. Hey, I love that it's back. I love that it continued the story. I love that it got to finally put us at a point to where we have the killer of his mother and, and Rio kind of like clashing heads. I love that it opened up the story more about like, the big villain, the big bad's motives and what they're trying to accomplish, or at least kind of open the door to that. It brought in all the different folks that are really important to Haruto in his past life, being Aki and being Miharu, right? His little sister. And then his, ex, the girl that he's loved since he was a child. It branched out more of the relationships with Celia, with Aisha, and it kind of like made that bigger. I think one of the ones that the ones that got a little bit not enough screen time this season was our favorite Fox girl, and I don't know why her name is eluding me all of a sudden, and I'm probably gonna remember as soon as I look it up right now. But I think she was the one who didn't get enough screen time, although, she was at the end of this episode and she did appear here and there. Latifah. I don't think Latifah really did get enough screen time this season. I think she really got kind of nixed out of the season a little bit, although she did have appearances. But to focus on the other things, like she didn't get enough screen time, but it did still kind of put her there in her sister brotherly love stuff. It introduced Lisa Lotte, which we'll see what kind of role that she ends up producing as the next season rolls out. So I think just a lot of setup stuff. It definitely was really, really successful at. So overall, my friends, I think this season was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I just appreciate you guys who have decided to stick with me all season long for one of our guilty pleasures, which we know isn't great, but it's still fantastic. The dub was Chef's Kiss was awesome. It was so bad, it was good. I love shows like this when it's just like the dub is just, it feels like you could be a dub actor there too, and it's just like, so good. So yeah, thank you guys just being with me all season long. This was the wrap, or the finito, the end to Spirit Chronicles. Hopefully I'll see you guys another 6 months, a year, 2 years when we get to the next season of Spirit Chronicles. It feels like I just covered the first season not that long ago, but really that was like 3-4 years ago at this point, which is nuts. But yeah, thank you guys being with me all season long. It means a whole lot. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Enjoy the holidays, and I'll see you guys in the spring season for brand new anime. Look out for videos soon, and please support me on that. All right, my friends. One love. See y'all.